Miss Delgado?
Yes?
Hello, how are you? My name is Alex. Please come in, sit down.
I'm good, thank you. You can call me Veronica, though.
Wonderful. So, Veronica, what brings you in today? Anything particular?
Yeah, actually, my doctor, Dr. Ortiz, recommended I see you. He said you've been working together for quite some time, and on a similar case to mine.
Yes. Dr. Ortiz and I have been working together for 5 years now. Why don't you tell me a little bit what's going on? What made you decide to take the steps to see a registered dietitian like myself?
I guess I decided to come because I'm concerned about my health impacting my first child. I'm 22 weeks along, and I want what's best for my health as well as hers. And because I've been feeling awful, I'm worried it could be impacting my child. Dr. Ortiz mentioned some concerns about my blood pressure and blood sugar that are a little high, which is my concern for today.
Well, congratulations. Having a child can be very exciting, also worrisome. So I can see where you're coming from. Veronica, I've heard you mention that your blood pressure and sugar is high and your main concern.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
Maybe some possibilities of what I could do or what could happen if I don't listen to everything you tell me.
Great. So I hear you telling me that you want to go over the blood pressure and blood sugar and what could come out of it, as well as what you could do to help your situation.
Yes, I'm scared you're going to tell me I have to go vegan or something super extreme.
Yeah, no, vegan is the new trend, so that's understandable. But we're going to set goals that you feel comfortable achieving. Veronica, one high concern with blood sugar and blood pressure levels being high in pregnant women is the possibility to have gestational diabetes, which is a degree of glucose intolerance that could lead to type 2 diabetes, as well as impacting the growth of your fetus.
Well, my mother had gestational diabetes mellitus with me, and now she has diabetes. Does this mean I'm definitely going to get it?
It means you have a higher chance of getting it, especially if you already have high blood sugar and pressure levels.
Well, I guess it's a good thing I decided to listen to Dr. Ortiz and see you.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't we start with having you tell me about what kinds of foods you like and what you don't like, and who does the shopping and cooking in your house.
Okay. Well, I really like carbs, especially bagels in the morning, and breadsticks whenever I can. I normally have a sandwich for lunch most days. Lots of pasta for dinners, too. I also like raw vegetables, like carrots, peppers, and tomatoes. I also really like quinoa, but don't make it very often, which kind of answers your question. I do most of the cooking and pretty much all the shopping, but my husband helps out when I get really busy and overwhelmed.
Okay, thank you. I have your 24-hour recall here that Dr. Ortiz, would you say this is pretty accurate?
Yes, I would. I'm a paralegal and I'm always running around, normally having something quick in the morning, or I go out for lunch unless I bring a sandwich with cold cuts, and for dinner I try to make something a little healthier, unless I go out with my girlfriends.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that you're eating all meals of the day. That is very important, especially in a pregnant woman. Also, because you're pregnant, there are certain foods like salmon, if you like fish, beans, leafy green vegetables that are super important for your diet.
Oh, I thought that I got what I needed from my prenatal vitamin.
You do, and it's very important that you take that as well as getting the nutrients you need from the food naturally. Reflecting on some of the things we talked about, how ready or willing do you feel about making changes in your diet on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being not willing, 3 being I guess, and 5 being yes, I want to change.
I would say I'm about a 4.
Wow, that's pretty high. Why are you at a 4 instead of a 3?
Well, I'm a little worried that I'll end up like my mother. I'm already on track, and I want to be as healthy as I can when I'm starting my new family.
I see, so family is very important to you?
Yes.
Good. That could be a good support system for you once you start making changes. Now, even though 4 is high, why aren't you at a 5?
Well, being at a 5 means that I'm going to have to give up all my social life, even though it's not even that big of a one. I already feel out of the loop when we go out because they can order a couple cocktails, and I can't drink alcohol because I'm pregnant.
Yes, you did mention about going out with your girlfriends, and how often would you say that you go out with them?
Oh, not that often. Maybe twice a week. One night just being appetizers and drinks after work, and then I go home and have dinner with my husband.
Okay. It sounds like you're on board. You're just a little worried about some of the drastic changes you'll have to make. Also, being a 5 doesn't mean giving up time with those you love. It means making different choices when you're with them. If hanging out with your girlfriends is something that you like to do and don't want to give up, things like that would never be a requirement or even necessary to give up.
Oh, that's a relief, because as much as I go to my husband for support, I go to them as well, and I don't think they would mind if I had to change my dietary needs around them.
Wonderful. That is important to have a group of friends like that, not only for nutritional purposes, but for your overall health as well. This is going to be a journey, and it's going to take some time, but the changes that you'll make will be based on the goals that you set for yourself, and I'm here to make sure that they're reachable and realistic, so you can obtain those goals. This being said, do you feel comfortable about being a 5 more than a 4?
Yes, that sounds great, and much better than changing everything all at once or going vegan.
Exactly. I have a pretty good understanding of how willing you are, but I would like to know how confident you feel about the goals that we have set based off of the same scale.
I'd say I'm about a 3.
Okay, not bad. Why are you at a 3 instead of a 4?
Well, I'm not really sure what I need to do, and I'm just scared about cheating and falling off track. If I see my husband and girlfriends eating whatever they want, I feel like I might eat that too.
I hear you completely. One thing I recommend is adding protein to your diet at each meal to replace some of the fillers that you're consuming at each meal. Also, you could try to cut out juice and add a piece of fruit instead. You are pregnant and now need to provide your body with nutrients for 2, so I want you to eat for that amount, but eating the right foods is key.
That sounds doable. I definitely think that I can do that. I could even carry around almonds or walnuts to have snacking options because that is crucial during my long days.
Yes, that is a great idea. I also heard you mention that you're a little worried about falling off track if you see other people eating differently. Is that correct?
Yes, my husband wants to support me and I do most of the cooking. But I don't want him to dislike what I put on the table.
Well, that sounds like you're doing a good job with dinner already. With all the different vegetables based on your 24-hour dietary recall, it's also very important that your husband is there to support you, and that's something that you can discuss with him. Simple things like going over what you both like before either of you go grocery shopping would limit the chance of not liking what's going on the dinner table. It's also good to understand that you don't have to eat the same thing all the time.
That's a good point, but we do like making a lot of the same things.
Great. It looks like we're just about done, but how comfortable do you feel with what we've discussed thus far?
Well, I think I'm ready to go and start change, and after hearing those recommendations, I do feel a little more confident about the changes than I did before I met with you.
That's great, really great. Okay, so for next week, if you're comfortable, I would like you to keep a food log and then start to a list of foods that you and your husband enjoy so we can start this journey. Does that sound like a reasonable goal for you?
It sounds good. Thank you, Alex. I will see you next week.
Yes, I will see you next week. It's nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you.